Good evening, everyone. Did you know that the internet was big mad? I'm talking about mad, mad. If you don't know why, it's because of this beautiful lady right here. She's one part of the group, Chloe and Haley, and she was recast in the remake of the live action movie. Disney is remaking The Little Mermaid. And because of this, the vitriol, the backlash, the very upsettedness of the internet has really caused me to kind of wonder how far have we come, or have we come far enough? Well, we're going to talk about it with a fellow YouTuber tonight. Her name is Conversations with Nicole. I'm curious as to why you think there has been so much backlash against Haley Bailey's casting as the new Little Mermaid. We have seen even a hashtag develop online, hashtag not my Ariel. And I'm going to bring up some of the comments I've been seeing, whether there are articles in different magazines or whether you're just on Twitter, watching Twitter go back and forth. There's been a lot said about her casting. And it seems to me that there's a lot to unpack because I want to believe anyone can be cast in any role. But even there's some Black folks who I will put their comments up who said, wait a minute, I kind of felt like Ariel should be white too, because that's what I remember her being. But should Disney have cast a white woman or a young lady to play Ariel? Is there only one way Ariel should be interpreted, being that the movie in the 90s was giving us a white woman with red hair? Or should there be some creative license and ability for Black actors to step forward in some of these roles that we traditionally imagine as being played by our white counterparts here in the United States? Well, we have a lot to talk about. This Hollyweird, as some people call it, industry is mad about this. Y'all saw it? Did you watch the trailer? We'll have a couple of peeks behind the trailer and what it looks like. But before I get started with tonight's conversation, I want to welcome you. I'm SuzetteSpeaks. I am a TV host and attorney here in Miami, Florida. It's a beautiful night here, y'all. About 7:30 on the East Coast, we are going to be talking about the casting of Haley Bailey as Ariel and why there's so much backlash about it online. If you didn't know, this is one of Disney's. Oh, let me give you a sample. Here we go. This was one that I found particularly juicy. This was in the comment section on Entertainment Weekly's website. Public comment, I'm quite sure, when Hans Christian Andersen was thinking of a Danish mermaid blending with Danish. Sorry, I was trying to move myself out the way, but let me go that way. Sorry. He was thinking he was thinking of her to be Black. I mean, the story seems extremely legit. It was set back in the 1800s. I am positive Caucasian European princes married Black women in 1800s. You know what is so ironic about this? I don't know if people don't know history and what was happening, why we got so many. The New World caused a lot of blending. Did they not read their history books? Why do Black people in the United States and in the Western Hemisphere have so many different shades? Well, your forefathers. Who gonna tell them? Who is going to tell them about all of the mixing that has happened in the New World? Was anybody in the 1800s sleeping with Black women? 100%, guys. But yet we are in 2022 and people are upset. People are mad. People are throwing stones. I'm talking about whole Facebook groups called Christian Christians for Disney or something like this. You got a whole Facebook group, sir, ma'am, because you want not the Little Mermaid to stay as you remember her. Well, I'm going to bring up my guest. Y'all hit the like button. Please warm it up in here. I miss so many of you. I hope you guys are hitting the notification bell. I got a few great shows coming up, by the way. As you come in, hit like. Conversation tonight is an open mic with special guest YouTuber Conversations with Nicole. Her YouTube channel is quite interesting. She's a very thoughtful conversationalist. I'm going to have her introduce herself. She is also a mental health advocate like me. We share a lot in common, and she's also in Florida. But I found her. Funny story, her mom saw me speaking at an event in Miami Gardens, Florida, and introduced herself, her mom did, and was like, my daughter does YouTube, and it was history from there. And I found her online, and it's so funny how we make connections in this world. The world is too small, first and foremost, and she shares a heart like mine for media, social media, and she's gonna come on and give us her opinion in just a moment. But please say hello. How y'all been? I've missed some of you. I know it's been busy with everybody streaming at the same time, basically. Hey, RM, good to see you, one of my moderators. Hey, David, great having you tonight. Coming in from Lancaster, Massachusetts. Great to have you, brother. Doug came with his popcorn. Let's go. VA, he says, in the building. Welcome, welcome. No problem. There's a lot going on. It was 7:30, 7:31. Okay. You know I had to take my little sip of water. Appreciate the love. Thank you, Michael, with the 99 on the super chat. Appreciate you. We get a little bit better, sister. Tell me how you really feel. As you can see, Nicole, my audience keeps it very real with me. Angelus, how are you? Shout out to the channel. Champagne glasses popping. And I hope you guys are in and ready for a great conversation. Hey, Brown Gal Peace Lounge, check her out. One of the best meditation channels here on YouTube. Really love listening to you, darling, right before I go to bed. And I appreciate you being a part of the Suzette Speaks Patreon. We got a chat, girl. I think we're going to go live on Patreon Saturday after my show. So we're going to have a little, roundtable discussion. But as we get into the conversation tonight, let me know how you feel. Yes, we are going to be like, hello, whole breeding farms for mulattoes. And people are acting as if they have lost their minds. That Ariel, the red-haired, fair, blue-eyed mermaid, has been cast as this young, beautiful Black woman. And how it has made them feel has said a lot more, I think, about our country and where we are. But no matter what you feel, come on in. I'm grateful that you're here. It's time to share your opinion. Shout out to good old Uncle Sam for multiplying. Let's go. What it be like? Okay, how are you? Now you got me speaking like you. 40 boom. Great evening, Hank. Nice to have you. Everybody who's in the chat, shout out to all of y'all. I want to give y'all my highest regard and just grateful, spirit. There's so many of you who are holding me down, watching, liking, commenting, and sharing. And I really appreciate you guys doing that. We have a great conversation tonight. Before we get into it, I want to tell you real quick, go ahead and look at my streams. My streams are up. So we have some shows coming up before we talk about Halle Bailey. Saturday, Sim Sia is going to be here, 12 noon. Y'all come support my brother Sim Sia. His topic is looking good kept me broke. What a great topic. And he suggested it. I can't wait to hear his story. Looking good kept me broke this Saturday. Next week, we got some fire. We Need to Talk. Alan from the We Need to Talk channel will be here, y'all. I think that's Wednesday, Thursday. But the streams are up. Harrison Family Values finishes out the month. So please go ahead and look at my page and go ahead and hit the notification bell so you do not miss these shows. I got a great end of the month coming to you on the Suzette Speaks show. But if you're new, I want to welcome you. I hope you will consider subscribing. We have a lot of fun over here, kind of like Nicole. She likes to have good conversations and pick one another's brains and just see where we are as thoughtful people in this life, right? In this journey together. We're impacted by social media. We're impacted by movies. We're impacted by so much that society is telling us to do and really telling us to be. So I wonder what the messaging is and what she feels the messaging is by Disney trying this change. And then maybe what some groups are like embracing this change and why, some groups are embracing it. Other groups are looking like, heck no. Christians for the Little Mermaid. I say, wait a minute now. They're taking this thing too far. But it's really how people feel. And I want to get into some... y'all go back and watch this show, by the way. Handling Conflict, Stop Yelling at Your Man. That was my last show. I think I want to change the thumbnail, call it Stop Yelling at Your Man so you guys can get into it. But yes, David says, like button, look at your like button. Now click it, make it solid. Go, go, go. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, David. Hit the like button again, says RM. But y'all know, go back and watch this. This was very helpful from my sister from Dallas, Dr. Q Perry, talking about how to handle conflict in relationships. Very good show, our last show. Go back and watch it. And you guys should see the card come up, the reminder card at the very top of this screen to tell you how to get there. But yeah, let me get my guest in the doorway. We're talking Little Mermaid. If you've never seen the Little Mermaid and you have no clue what she looks like, All right, let me just add what she's going to look like now. Okay, so this is the trailer. People lost their minds after seeing the trailer of, musician, actress, songwriter, like Halle Berry. Halle Berry. I wish. Halle Bailey. Thank you very much. I'm excited about the topic. Let me bring my guest on to help me mellow out a little bit. But Halle Bailey being cast in this role has caused some really visceral reactions. Again, some people have been embracing it. Some people are very upset, thinking it's I don't know, some kind of travesty misrepresentation of who the Little Mermaid should be. There are folks who are neutral and okay, I don't know who the Little Mermaid is. I never watched it growing up. I watched Ariel growing up, right? I was singing in How Will They Walk? How Will They? I was singing those songs, right? A Part of Your World. That's the name of that song. And in the trailer, Halle is singing that song, and she could sing, y'all. I was just like, vocalist wise, yes, perfect choice, Disney. Let's go. But how do you feel about the change in skin tone, the change in melanin, and why there's so many trolls online using the hashtag #NotMyAriel, and how visceral the reaction has been among different groups? I am wondering, what my guest is thinking. So without further ado, we're going to drop the link in just a little bit. Hit the like button, y'all. I got to get the likes up before I bring her on. But without further ado, please help me welcome my very special guest YouTuber tonight, Miss I'm going to call you Conversations with Nicole. How
Hey,
are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me and for making the connection here. Welcome,
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, it's a pleasure. And like I said, I want to first introduce people to your channel because you are a content creator, a very consistent, a couple times a week, seeing your
hmm
show now, a few weeks now, and just tell people what you're doing on YouTube
Well,
before we get started.
so started conversations with Nicole back in 2016 as a way to connect the community. I am based here in Tallahassee, Florida, and my focus is on community connection. But I've also been working in the mental health space since 2017, and actually started doing live shows last year that were mental health focused. And so I have Black and Brown clinicians on with me live on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. And we just kind of talk about various sundry topics. Last night topic was on the process of healing yourself. Monday's night topic was on um, oh goodness, double consciousness, and whether or not parents should be teaching their children to have a double identity. So
That
we
was
got
good, girl. I was watching it. I was watching
yeah
it. And
we
I think a lot of that will lend to what we talk about tonight, double consciousness.
mhm.
For people who don't know, can you give us a quick definition if people are not familiar with what we're referring to when we say double consciousness?
Sure. So it goes back to W.E.B. Du Bois back in 1903, and he talks about this two-ness, this doubleness that we as Black folks in America have to have. Probably modern day would call it code switching because we are one way around our people and another way with non-Black folks. And so this double consciousness kind of comes about as we navigate our space here in America.
Oh, yes. So for sure, that's me all day. They're saying, welcome. You better sing. No, I wasn't really trying. If you want to let me sing, I would be happy to, David. Don't judge me on my quick aerial. But I love the music from, just remember it was the first representation as someone from a Caribbean American background.
Mhm.
Um, the crab singing.
Under the sea, right?
Yes, under the sea. I was like, oh, I felt represented more by the crab.
Right.
I was like, oh, they got a little soca, a little calypso in there.
Uh-huh.
That was big. That was big for me.
Yeah.
But when you saw the headlines, Doug, let me read your comment real quick before I ask Nicole what she thinks. But Doug says, I would rather see new movies with diversity instead of switching races of established characters. That's what I saw. One other person who said online that they were African American, a brown girl magic, said the same thing. She was like, why couldn't it be a sister, a cousin, or some distant not necessarily direct relative, but create a whole new character that we fall in love with and enjoy that way. So your point is well taken, Doug. I saw that online as well. It's already hard to accept replacement actors for established roles. So he's saying, like, don't forget that people get upset when it comes to, people get replaced in movies. Even I think it's gonna be hard to replace, and rest his soul, like Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, and those people. We're like, those people are etched in our minds as that character. So when you try to change up, like, I don't know, like a 007, Jason Bourne, or some of these big characters, people get really upset. So I understand your point. Thank you so much. Welcome, says RM. Miss Glove Girl, hey girl, says she could have been Ariel's friend or cousin. Like, put them together. I heard some of that, and I saw some of that online, and we'll talk about that sentiment. But Nicole, let's start by first of all, y'all go to her channel, please. Support, subscribe. If you're over here from Nicole's channel, welcome. Glad to have you. And like I said, she does wonderful shows every week, mental health related and other topics as well. So tell us what you thought when you first saw, the trailer, or when you saw some of the conversations online. Actually, you saw some of the different version. Talk about that. What'd you see initially?
Yeah, no, I saw the positiveness initially before even seeing the trailer. I saw a video of several little Black girls watching the trailer and being elated that she looked like them.
Right.
And, them saying, oh, she's Black, she's Black, she's Black. And so, that was actually, that lifted my spirits, to be quite honest with you. And so when you mentioned that there was this backlash, I was like, oh, okay. Not on my timeline.
Yes. And I think that goes to a bigger which I say reality, is that our timelines are unique to us. So what the news is for so-and-so, and which is again a dangerous part as to why United States is getting more divided, your news in beautiful Tallahassee, Florida is different from what the algorithm is feeding me in Miami, or the next person in wherever, Idaho, or wherever across the world. You're getting tailored news, guys, into your feed. So you said initially when we brought up topics, girl, we were like, we basically discussed all the Black women in the news. We were like, we can talk about Serena, we can talk about Cheryl Lee, and we can talk about Halle, but we'll talk about a little bit of everybody today. But you were like, there's backlash? And I was like, girl, yes.
Yeah, no clue, because it was all looking positive to me. I was like, oh, okay, I might have to go see this now. Listen.
Shout out to your timeline and it being kind of like a different experience. But yeah, people saw the contrast as something really troubling, hurtful, not only unrealistic, but I'm talking about it seemed from the depth. And I'm going to put up a few comments, but it rocked some people at the soul level that I was like, first of all, I want y'all to be okay with this cartoon. And I don't want y'all to be so like, you can't tell people how to feel. But it was shocking to me to get this level of, I don't know, reaction and whole Facebook group. So so when you discovered after our discussion, there's a whole nother side of the internet that's not really taking this very well. What were your thoughts?
They are all in their feelings over a cartoon. Listen, I saw a quote that said, the white girls want true to color Ariel. I saw something that said if they made Princess Tiana white, we'd be feeling the same way. So it's quite controversial.
And I understand for those of you who do not know your Disney princesses, but Princess Tiana was it something on the Frog?
Princess and the Frog.
Princess and the Frog. Tell you how much I know. I don't have little ones, so I'm not into Disney as much. But I have a niece. She'll be in there. I'm pretty sure she went to her first Disney on Ice, and she was like, I'm talking about in heaven, clapping. It was so cute to watch like a 2-year-old, like, oh, fascinated. But it's such an imprint on people, I guess, just watching my niece. I understand that it is such a big imprint on people, and people follow Disney when I don't know how it is in other states, but in Florida, I have worked at places where people are obsessed with Disney.
Yeah.
I have had former like administrative staff and secretaries that I'm talking about they got engaged at Disney World. They went to Disney World at least once a year, if not
Mhm.
more. Their parties and themes of, I'm talking about adult birthday parties and things like that, were always
Yeah.
based on like Disney movies and princesses and characters. So I was like, it might be like what you call cosplay for like Disney, but if there are people, the Disney brand is a I don't know. It's as strong as, I don't know if it's probably as strong as the Queens, but it is such a impactful
It
brand
is.
that people's whole childhoods
Yeah.
are defined by the Disney movie that came out when they were little. Like
Mhm.
these little girls now singing Frozen. I don't know what they would do if they was a black Elsa. Like they might
Right.
go crazy.
Right. Right.
So I hear what they're saying in terms of like, no, it can be, it's jolting. That's not the character. What else did you see when you were kind of looking around? What else struck you as you were looking around?
So I think maybe that same, and I don't remember where I read it, but there was a Black person that said that representation should not just be visual, but it should be through diverse stories and characters and settings. And so, I'm thinking again, this is an actress playing a role of, a diverse setting. We talk about Black folks experience not being a monolith, right?
Hmm.
We have a variety of experiences, and so again, it's really kind of no big deal to me. But they refer to it as cheap secondhand representation, and I guess thought that there should be more of a story as it related to us. I was thinking, okay, so
Is that coming from white people, black people, or could you
this
tell?
is a Black person. This is a Black person. So I was thinking,
Whoa.
okay, so if this part of the sea that Black Ariel lived in had trash or was a ghetto, would we be okay with that?
Ah, I ask people all the time when they say, "Are you being real?" and "Are you this? Are you that?" I always like, does a black woman have to be ghetto to be real? It strikes me very much like, wow, your only interpretation or you're only identifying blackness with certain behavior that's not necessarily positive. And
Hmm.
yes, there's a reality of black ghetto and then black, which I say impoverished
Right.
mindset is probably a better way to say that.
Right.
I withdraw. I withdraw the ghetto
Okay.
because I
Attorney.
don't like it because it's that label that gets slapped on it, and I'm like, nah,
Hmm.
it's not accurate, and it's used as a pejorative, so I remove that. But
Okay.
when people are impoverished in a way that it impacts their mindset, that's like quote blackness, and I'm like, but no, that's only a one dimensional viewpoint
Hmm.
of one experience of blackness in the
Exactly.
United States. There are people that have been going to Harvard for 7 and 8 generations, and people
Hmm.
have been going to Howard for 7, well, maybe, yeah, probably about 7, 6 or 7 generations now too. So I feel like sometimes, I think they're saying it's a cheap representation, but then I'm like, if they would have made her quote more black, would that have been cringy? Like I'm
With
just
some
like,
with some braids, or
I like the dread. First of all, the locks is beautiful. First of all, her locks alone in real life,
yeah.
I just love the fact that her and her sister are, embracing natural hair, and that look fits them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Super pretty girls. Women, I
Absolutely.
should say. I think she's like
Absolutely.
22 now, even though
Hmm.
she looks like a baby. She's a grown up. Hit the like button, y'all. But yeah, she is a very attractive, smart, and again talented as an actor, as a singer. And I thought to myself, man, this is a deep feeling, because if you see this ad, I don't know if you can see it there. I think I have another picture with out the button there, but yeah, it's very, the shooting of it, I don't know, it's like, it made me curious. I was like, what is Disney doing? And wanting to see more. I really wasn't offended. I was much more like, wow, this could be really good or be mishandled. It depends
Hmm.
on who you are and how you feel. But yeah, when you see that, it is so striking. I'm like, wow, do I see Ariel? I don't know. How do you think people are right to say, or maybe it's their opinion. We can't say right or wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't know. When I look at it, I'm like, what if this generation of girls is growing up and think this is Ariel? Like, what would that be wrong? I don't know.
No, it's not wrong. I mean, what?
Yeah, I did feel like
It's not wrong.
we had one. Why can't they have this one? And I don't know if that's the underlying issue, that maybe feminine, soft, lovely, super ladylike representation of a Black woman is more the issue, as
Mm,
opposed to the character swap. What would you say?
maybe, I don't know. I really would have to see it to see. I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, I would imagine that the story is pretty much staying the same. But I tend to agree with what Ace Butterfly says, which is that Black people need to come up with their own production, their own fairy tales, etc. You know,
Hmm.
so that
There you go. Hey, HB.
yeah, I love that comment because I think that is spot on. Like, let's use our own imaginations to come up with our own stories.
So the remaking, the recasting, okay, we appreciate it, but sometimes maybe it is well, let's read some comments. I was gonna say it is not, the intention may be good, but it may not quite hit that mark the way we would like it to be. But I really do applaud that effort to be inclusive. I really do.
Mhm.
But yes, I understand that there is going to be interpretation. Ozzy says, "Mermaid in black. Open your mind. Let's go." Thank you, Ozzy. Appreciate you. RM
Ozzy's
says,
one
"Hit
of my
that like button." Ace B continues. Sadly, at Suzette Speaks, there are plenty of upwardly mobile Black people that are uncomfortable with their success. I hear many online claiming they are part street and part corporate. That's a Ace Butterfly know how to bring up some real issues. There's a whole nother layer there that we could really unpack, but we're not going to do that tonight. But I hear what you're saying. But there are people that want, again, this kind of one monotone of Blackness. Like,
monolith.
oof, we're more than that. And I think,
Mhm.
again, we're bigger than this kind of racial box that people try to. And I heard online, I don't know if you know, do you know who Kevin Gates is? Like,
Mhm.
he's a rapper. Okay, Kevin Gates was saying that he's not Black. There's I don't know how old this interview was, but he was trying to,
Mhm.
I think he was trying to convey, he's in a, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not African, I'm not Black, Chinese people come from China, Africans come from Africa. It was trying to, trying to be deep, but it kind of was like, I don't know if you
Right.
get what, nationality is versus race. But what he was
Mhm.
trying to say is, I think, in my interpretation,
Mhm.
there was a limitation that word is attached to that he doesn't want. And I
Mhm.
get that sentiment. I kind of like, okay, you're right, but you're wrong though, bro, because there's a lot of that is placed upon us that we're not necessarily the creators of. And people want to say that we are holding it. No, when I walk out my door, I'm facing what you place upon me. Thank you very much in my
Yeah.
experience. So I say all that to say, yeah, I see what you're saying, Ace B. There are people that are going to feel some type of way and want to see more, quote, authenticity, whatever that is, or whatever in their mind a Black person, a Black mermaid should sound like, look like, etc. But I think I probably stand on the other side of that spectrum, as in, like, I am okay with a recast of a Black, even Romeo and Juliet, and trying that. That's me. I'm comfortable with that, but other people may not like it. I agree, Ace. We need to be comfortable with our success. Embrace education. Embrace being upwardly mobile, etc. I see a Little Mermaid, says Miss Globe Girl, but not Ariel. I hear you. I hear you. Let me read a couple comments that I saw online. I was really perturbed, but like I said, it's better, when we talk about Haley Bailey. It's a lot of let me let the quotes speak for themselves. Because I was first I read this one already, but for those just joining, hit the like button, please. This one was saying, again, as a Danish story, I guess where it was drawn from. Could a Dane who wrote this originally see Black people, and there were Black people in Europe at this time, by the way, D-Rock, but just random person on the internet, fine. And I'll read some of the responses to her thread, which was very interesting. It went down like, sorry. Give
Suzette,
me
can I just add that
sure.
white folks have played Black roles throughout time? Elizabeth Taylor, Cleopatra, they've even put on blackface to emulate Black people.
I put that in my Instagram stories, like, y'all mad about the Little Mermaid, and I put, like, when they play Egyptians and they use white actors in spray tans from
Mhm.
like the 50s, the 60s. I'm like,
Mhm.
you have co-opted a whole truth about what Jesus looked like. Let's just say,
Hey,
oh
the
Lord.
whole Ten Commandments, which we see every
Oh
Easter.
Lord. Yes, exactly. And I watch it. I was watching the Ten Commandments.
Not a black
And I'm
person
like,
there.
this is not how any of the people there looked. This is not. But again, it can be more about the social, what should I say, control of the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Good, beautiful, angelic people look a certain way. And maybe there are some that may feel that no, we want to keep purity of this character. Like I say, I don't know everyone's interpretation, but there are some that might have, which I say, multi-layered, even nefarious desires for only, like I say, loved characters to be white. Another, the fact that we want to create blackness in a space that is only negative. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
I absolutely get what you're
Yeah.
saying. In fact, you and I kind of talked about this from the standpoint of the class that I adopted and a book that I read to them that taught the characters were night and day, and night was shunned by people, and as a result went away. Of course, night was dark and day was light. But in reading this story to the children afterwards, I asked them who was their favorite or what, who would they play with, and they all said day, and that they wouldn't play with night because night was ugly and bad
Mm.
and this sort of thing. And so, even as little children, we get these messages around black and white, and again, black being negative. I mean, and I don't know if any of your viewers are familiar with like some of the doll baby studies where they
Oh.
have
Mhm.
little children, black children with a black doll, a white doll, and they ask them which one is smart, which one is pretty, which one is good, and hands down, they all say the white doll.
And,
So,
and more recently, they did it in the 60s, and I think they did it again in the 2000s, and it
mhm,
wasn't much different, which is
yep,
so scary.
yep,
But it shows you why, even though people say, well, it is just a movie, it makes a difference because representation is kind of what people in the media is what people internalize and
hmm,
start to build narratives subconsciously about what beauty is, what a lovely person looks like, what a pretty person or attractive person looks like. That's why even now when we talk about dating apps, and I'm sorry to switch back to dating because we just did a show about relationships and conflict,
yeah,
but and I think maybe DL and Sate would attest to it. When it comes to dating apps, everything is so much about physical, physical, physical that if your presentation looks a little bit different than the mainstream and what they deem beautiful, you're losing on the Tinders, you're losing on these other apps because
hmm,
it's so much of a one cookie cutter design of beauty. And I think, especially when it comes to media, I get what Disney was trying to perhaps do, widen the picture of what
hmm,
beauty is, what celestial like mermaids can be. They
right,
can be locked up, they can be, tan and
hmm,
melanated. And I get what the messaging was trying to say, but sometimes I think maybe I don't know, it's hard to please everybody first and
it
foremost.
is.
But Andres says if Ariel gotta be Danish, why is the crab Caribbean?
Mhm.
Exactly. I'm telling you, I was jamming to him and his accent. I was like, oh my goodness, I was in heaven listening to him. But exactly. So people have I guess one track minds and pick and choose what it is that has to be,
Right.
the one way or another. And they
Mhm.
didn't have any problem with the crab. Thank you for the love, Andres. Thank you so much. Ace Butterfly also adds, Cicely Tyson, I had an issue during her life. I saw an interview where she said she had to explain to someone that just because she's black doesn't mean she is the position of servitude. Absolutely.
Mhm.
There's so much. Hey, Miss Creative, nice to have you. There's so much, again, implications with representation of beauty.
Yes.
And again, this character Ariel, when she first came out, was like, again, the I don't know if I have, yes, the solo, this is Ariel, like in
Right.
people's minds they're like very petite, again, highly feminine, super what should I say, loving and pathetic and sweet. And again, can that only be attached to whiteness? or because she was already established, is it difficult to attach her to blackness? I don't know, but there are people that are going to have an opinion on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head. Because it's been attached to this character, we can't assign that to a black woman. We can't assign that to a black character. No.
So it again, I'll read some of these comments because maybe it would be better. Some suggest, and Twitter was horrible. I didn't even want to paste some of the stuff from Twitter. I just grabbed this from Entertainment Weekly so that we can gain some just some ideas of what the backlash is. Hans Christian Andersen is another one responding to the lady who had written, or the person that had written before. Hans Christian Andersen describes the Little Mermaid as having blue eyes and her hands being white in sections of the story. There really isn't any ambiguity about what race she is, quote, meant to be. And I think about that, I'm like, man, but Hollywood has done a great job of like whitewashing almost every story. Right. When we talk about meant by who? People have rewritten so much of history. What would your reflection on this type of comment be?
Yeah, I mean, as I've read the comment, I actually was thinking about, maybe they should have made Ariel an albino. Or
hi, Yella, let's go. Right. Ariel. Like she's black, but she's like the whitest black ever. Oh my goodness.
Black ever, and then she would have been all right.
Oh man, yeah. People got really in their feelings.
They did.
And the threads went on. Let me see. Fragile, other side of the coin. Lady named J. Lopez. Again, this is public comment from like an Entertainment Weekly story about this, saying fragile racists having a meltdown over a fictional mermaid character. Hilarious. Then in response, high in the 70s, they're literally screaming, Ariel is white, mermaids are white. I mean, where do I even begin? LOL. So there's multiple things going on. It's like half of it is just like, wait, is it because you think I, grew up with a white Ariel, or because you think she could not be black? Right. Do you know what I'm saying? Or should not?
I do. Exactly. I think that's exactly what it is. It's impossible for her to be black.
Yeah, no. I think, let me read some of these comments, y'all. See what you guys got to say. Appreciate y'all being here and watching. The Saint is in the building. I see you. What's good, DL Saint? Nice to have you. Welcome. Find our guests. Conversations with Nicole all over the internet, y'all. Whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Girl, I haven't gotten a TikTok yet. I'm so tired of all the stuff, man. I'm just like,
It's a lot. Mine, I only have like 3 posts. I put intern. Okay. I put an intern over there over the weekend. I was like, look,
you got interns. I wish. I'm working on it. Ace B says, notice when they cast overweight Caribbean characters, etc., they are the comic relief. Exactly. Like I say, there is this typecasting in roles. Like if she was Ariel's servant or sidekick, or what they say, magic Negro trope, nobody would have had a problem with it, because Ariel would still be the epitome of good and excellence and femininity, and some would say whiteness. And therefore, we're good with that. Put her on the top shelf, and then y'all could be on the second shelf and be her sidekick. Like, I think if it was a Batman and Robin type of deal, people would have had a problem with it. Like, oh, they introduce a black character as long as she's, serving to save the white character. But yeah, it's very disturbing. Whether it's just I would be more comfortable because that's what I grew up with, and whether it's more deeper entrenched, this is not the place for a black woman.
I think Ace Butterfly again is spot on. We do kind of historically see black characters that are introduced in a sub role, if you will, either as comic relief or as, someone that's playing like a servitude, if you think of butler or maid or what have you, or the nanny or something like that. And so they might have, a couple of cameo appearances, but not like the spotlight like that. So
yeah, I'm going to definitely drop the link in a second. The Lone Ranger, this was another response in that thread. Great points, Nicole. The Lone Ranger was a real person. His name was Bass Reeves. He was portrayed as a white man because people like Roger don't want to see, or sorry, this other person in the comments, the Black Lone Ranger fact, not fiction. So don't tell me about a Danish mermaid, lol. Maybe she migrated from the coast of Africa with other. That was so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Not the migration patterns, but
Right.
yeah, no, it's super important to like. I really want to ask half of these people that are using this kind of very visceral hashtag. Why?
It is.
Not you. Y'all went to the lengths. I can understand trying to get the message to Disney. This is not what we like. This is not who we like. We're not really comfortable with it. But because there's so much unexplained, there's a racial undertone based on just our country's history of how negative stereotypes have always been the place for Black actors, Black actresses. People who talk about all the time going to Hollywood and they couldn't get a job without playing like a gangster or a prostitute, right? For years. For years. I even watched, and I should have put her picture in here. We were talking about Black women in the news this week. And Tracee Ellis Ross recently said in an interview, and I love me some Tracee Ellis Ross, was like, I may never get an Emmy. She knows in her heart she should have gotten an Emmy for The Girlfriends, but there was no space for it at the time. People weren't ready and thinking that that was that type of caliber show. And she's like, I know that maybe I won't even have another opportunity to be nominated and to get it. And I think about, we're going to talk about Sheryl Lee Ralph in just a second, because babe, how you going to be, I mean, shout out to her maintaining the dream, the faith. Till you 65. And I've read articles about that. Why do Black people have to wait till they damn near about to hit this grave? Not that she's gonna hit the grave to gain success, but white folks, and again, where it comes into this again, racial inequity, that white kids, white young adults are given shots at 20 and 30 to run entire companies. And you have to literally hold on long enough into your 40s and 50s and 60s as a Black person to get that same shot. And finally, I'm talking about you working hard in your 70s when you finally get cross certain corporate finish lines. And it's really, I don't know, it's troubling. Go ahead.
It is very troubling. I mean, it's almost as if you're invisible. And what does it take for you to get noticed? What does it take? You know, again, I kind of go back to, was it Ace? Who said we need to have our own?
I think it was Ace Butterfly.
Yeah. So like, that's like us having our own award show. So thank God for the BET Awards. Thank God
it's
for
something.
You know what I'm saying? Because
or NAACP and
right. We don't. Why do we need them to validate us? Why do we need them to, you know, applaud our work? We don't. Let's do it ourselves.
Exactly what Tracee Ellis Ross was saying. Everything is not an Instagrammable moment. It is not this big, you know, celebration of, she's like, my quiet celebrations are the most meaningful to me because I know I'm worth it. I deserve an Emmy, even though I may not get another opportunity because of, again, equity in roles. Not that she's not good enough, but again, they're going to be mad if they put her as the fairy grandma or somebody where she could win one. Shout out to Sheryl Lee Ralph. But roles have to be written so that people have opportunities. If we're saying we don't want necessarily, you know, some folks feeling this type of, you know, switch up, but we need other roles, right? And we need to write our own material so that we are inclusive, you know, including ourselves in the possibilities of great creative art. But yes, I agree with you. Oh, girl, you like my girl? I did a whole little something over Labor Day, girl. I got a couple pieces. We appreciate you, the Miss Creative. We still working out. We still trying to pull it together. But you know, we had to. You know, I would gave in. Sometimes, you know, when you're trying to lose weight, you're like, I won't buy it until I was like, nah, we're gonna have to buy a couple of pieces, just for not a lot. L. Nixon, the voice of reason. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for passing through. Glad you are here. I was gonna read one more Ace saying, this also translates to the real world. Some people have a problem in employment reporting to a black manager. That's why some people will argue that this actually is really good, because to see more, and I didn't do a show on the Lion King, Jesus, the Woman King.
The Woman King. Okay, yes.
Y'all don't beat me up for that. Don't beat me up for that.
It's okay.
The Woman King. I didn't do a show on it. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I haven't yet. I hope to this weekend.
That's what I was going to say. I want to support. I love me some Viola Davis. I cheer for all Black casts. I want those movies to do well. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, even though these movie tickets getting more and more expensive.
Right.
But did you know, first of all, did you know that they have 4D movies?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, my cousin was telling me about it during Labor Day. Like, your seats move and they spray water in your face, and you feel like you're in it.
What?
Yes, and I was like, "Do I spend $25 for this 4D?" I think it's upwards of 25. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
wow.
saw a new theater, brand new, that has it. I think I want to see Woman King in 4D, but not to digress. Yeah, I was like, "Do I
Okay.
want to spend that much money though?" Because I can't buy popcorn with it.
Right.
The ticket alone.
You're gonna
The
need a
ticket alone.
loan.
I was like, "I'll eat
You're gonna
before I
need a
go."
loan to go to the movie.
Exactly. I'm like $50 for one, not
Oh,
even two.
one.
If I bring somebody
Right.
or somebody, it's like $100 to go to
No,
movies.
we need to be there all day.
Exactly. I was like, is this a theme park now? But yes, not to digress. I saw that movie as well. And even her interview, even on shows like, how they do the media tour, I think it might have been
Mhm.
The View. She was just like, yeah, there's no white woman, there's no white savior, there's nothing about this show has any, direction outside of the beauty of blackness, the strength of blackness, the heroicism, I guess might be the word, of
Mhm.
black women who were, I guess, in the theme, and I have not seen it, were in this society shunned at an early age if they
Mhm.
weren't deemed desirable, and made to fight in an army for the king. That is, I
Mhm.
think, the plot from
Okay.
what I gather. And these women, fight or die kind of thing, or be put to death.
Right.
So it was very it's an interesting plot anyway.
Mhm.
But thinking about that, I don't know. Some people are saying, I love to see it, but is that also a trope of the strong black woman, like invincible, can't, doesn't need protection, protects herself? I don't know. I have to see it first before I could get too deep and
Yeah.
understanding where where the movie goes. And I don't want to comment before I see it. But tonight, talking about trolls using the hashtag not my Ariel. We had again some wonderful wins in the media with us. And I'll ask you to comment on Shirley Ralph because I'm still singing what she was singing at her finally
Yeah.
her Emmy win. And Serena Williams, of course, doing her thing. But let me see
Mhm.
what the chat has to say.
Super
And
proud of Shirley Ralph though.
oh,
That was like the best acceptance speech ever.
yeah, I did not put it. Yeah, I think when the fact that it has been since Jackie
Since
was the
Jack
last
Hay.
time a black woman won an I think it's Emmy and the Best Supporting Actress of a
Mhm.
Comedy.
Mhm. Mhm.
227, bro. Like,
227.
I don't know if y'all know 227. I don't know if
Right.
my Zennials know 227. But if
Mhm.
you were 80s, 90s, even 70s babies, was 227 in the 70s? I don't even know.
No,
I think
not
it
in
was
the
in the
70s.
80s.
Yeah.
80s, 90s babies, you probably know 227. But the fact that it took that 30 some years, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Mhm.
crazy. But
Mhm.
as you said, when this here,
Yeah. When she
where
sang
my
that
baby was
song,
like,
woo!
it was all the way from Dreamgirls,
Yes.
meaning that she was in the original cast of Dreamgirls. Like, remember they
Mhm.
made it over
Yes,
with Beyonce
yes,
and
yes.
and Jennifer Hudson
Jennifer
them,
Hudson,
but
yes.
she was in the original in the
Mhm.
70s. And then no, to finally get your roses, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
ah, 65, girl. I gotta keep putting the cream on my face because you got to look good to get your awards.
You do. You do. You do.
For
You do.
65?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely
Yes,
phenomenal.
ma'am. I need to know what juices, berries, sugar scrubs, whatever you're
Yes.
using. Come on
All of
in.
that. Black don't crack, okay?
Yes, sure. When you drink a lot of water, when you go to sleep, she
Listen,
says,
this is your
sure looks
red.
great. Yes, if she was white, she would have been nice. A's, you were gonna keep it positive. We happy for
Yeah,
Cheryl.
we
Like I
are.
said, why, it takes almost to the end of her, and I say end because as if she's like leaving, but you get what I'm saying, like when she's
Yeah.
taking other type of motherly, as
Mhm.
Lynn Whitfield would say, when you make that change, it's like
Right.
you leave Siren, you leave Vixen, you leave Hot
Mhm.
Girlfriend, and you go into Mom and Grandma,
Right.
and
Mom,
that kind of
grandma.
thing. And she's a teacher. She's playing in that comedy Abbott Elementary.
Yes.
When you saw the speech, what were your thoughts?
Oh my gosh, I was blown away. Again, just the song. In fact, I wrote it down. I typed it up on my Instagram as a quote. I am an endangered species, but I sing no victim song. I am a woman, I am an artist, and I know where my voice belongs. How powerful is that? How powerful is that? And
Absolutely.
so as she, even in the midst of being kind of shunned or not recognized, I'm not gonna play the victim, you know?
Exactly.
And yeah, I thought
Exactly.
that was just classy. Just very
She perfect word for her, class act. And
mm-hmm,
even shout out to I say even also shout out to Quinta Brunson
mm-hmm,
for again creating that creative space written for and about Black people, people of
yeah,
color,
mm-hmm,
and a diverse cast that allowed her the opportunity to play her heart out, right? To act, as we all know, she can, and be recognized
yeah,
as well deserved as her career has been.
mm-hmm,
It is just again about those opportunities now. That's why I'm like, maybe we need to have the Haley in the Little Mermaid so she get opportunity to do other things. Remember Brandy and Cinderella on Broadway?
right,
That was like, I don't know.
mm-hmm,
Y'all want
mm-hmm,
Brandy on Broadway and Cinderella? People have so
yeah,
many, like, again, their idealistic viewpoint of what this character is, but it was written always to be white.
yeah,
Maybe they got to reimagine for us to even get, the parts. Yes, we got to write our own. Yes, we got to create our own opportunities. But in the
mm-hmm,
meantime, Hollywood's still going to be run by who it's run by, in terms of the majority culture.
it is.
So I don't know. I think again, giving someone like I got it when we see the movie, we'll know. I'm sure we'll
Mm-hmm.
hear a lot more about it. How did you feel about just before we go, Serena Williams and her hold on, sorry. The Miss Grace about maybe went to dermatologist to get some enhancement. Now uh yes, I need you to be a little bit, you can say what you need to say, but I need you to be a little more politically correct. Yes, of course. These people are rich. They're not necessarily living the stress. They have their own stresses, but the type of day-to-day stress, and they
Mm-hmm.
go to probably get a facial every week or something like this. And what they call it, the tanks where you breathe. I can't think of it. Michael Jackson used them, or even athletes use them. You know what I'm talking about? And
Uh-huh.
pure oxygen, and then
Right.
the best type of skincare. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have a lot working in their favor that average people do not. But
Mhm.
yeah, the other story that captured my attention this week was Serena.
Yeah.
And what were your thoughts when she announced her retirement, or when did you watch any of her final game? I did watch that final game.
Yeah. I caught the tail end of it, probably like the last maybe 30 minutes of it until the end. And boy, I thought just a fight to the finish, even though, she was down and, the likelihood of her coming back from that was like, but to still continue to fight and, give her a little bit of a run for the money. I thought that was just great. That's a
Oh
great way to
yeah,
go out.
classic Serena. Go ahead.
Yeah. Serena has been doing this thing for a minute though, and so I don't have any fault against her for, hanging up her tennis racket. I really don't.
See, my cousin said it like this, like it was at first when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, is she giving up her career for a family? And my cousin was like, no, she already did career
Mhm.
and then started the family.
Mhm.
So she put her career first. And for the 24 Grand Slams that she was trying to get to the 25th one, her
Right.
body, her spirit, her mind
Yeah.
had been dedicated to this. So it wasn't really perhaps a giving up, it was a letting go.
Mhm.
So perhaps she had, I don't know, 2 to 4 more years, if that, maybe not at
Maybe.
her pinnacle. But she went out on her own terms and
She
then now
did.
wants to, as she says, reinvent the new Serena
Yeah.
and be a mom and go on. But yeah, I think it's
Mhm.
not a matter of sacrificing the career now. It's like, yeah, you've done that.
She blazed her and Venus blazed the trail.
Absolutely. They're playing against girls they inspired.
Mhm.
Little girls who was watching them like, I want to be like you 20 years
Right.
ago. They're
Right.
playing those people now.
Mhm. Mhm.
So they've left that mark. And then we've seen some of our new what should I say, generation of African American tennis players come in slowly but surely.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of them. I don't want to start calling
Mhm.
names because I love them all.
Right.
But they've left their mark more than they have opened that door. They made tennis relevant.
Yeah.
Sorry guys who love tennis, but
Mhm.
if
Oh,
Black
we
people
are.
do a certain thing well, all of a sudden it becomes hip. Them bees, baby, when them bees was shaking and they went back and forth, I remember being like, oh my God, they look like me.
Look, and them grunts.
Yes. You see that ball, and I'm looking like, yes, like that power. And then of course, as they matured, and then Serena became the stronger opponent, and seeing her in her fashion and her body, just her big, bold, beautiful black body. Like, yes, tennis, y'all gonna write me up for wearing a catsuit. You're gonna write me up for just being me, basically. And if a white girl had to wear a catsuit, y'all wouldn't have said nothing, I believe. But now here we are with your buxomness and your brawn, and no one was used to that. I remember our U.S. Opens where people were cheering. Americans were cheering for her opponent because, again, the representation 10 years ago, she's bigger, she's stronger, she's basically implicitly masculine.
Yeah.
So we don't want her in this sport, or she can't be our all-American girl. But I bet your daughter thinks she would. Yeah. Okay, maybe they don't want us to. Let me read some comments before we get out of here. Yes, Ace. You remember, but look how they treated Serena and Venus. Look at all the negative talk about their. Exactly. Those girls, women, as girls, truthfully, they went through a lot.
They did.
As women too.
They did.
Again, the same thing about representation.
Yep.
The tennis world was very conservative and had one. Same thing that even Simone Biles had to go through. And remember Dominique Dawes?
Yeah.
Take me down memory lane. The one black girl on the gymnastics team in like the 90s. And I wanted to be her so bad. I'm like, love me some Dominique Dawes. And what she did, even being her first lonesome self team, I think it might have been 1996.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But look at who's dominating. It's like, if you give us an opportunity,
that's right,
we come in. So they rather not provide the opportunity
because they know.
Some would argue that's why you see the doors of who gets to play these big iconic roles being limited. Again, Disney was bold. Disney was very bold to do what they just did.
They were.
And risky. Even Beyonce says she don't make a lot of money on her quote black work and albums and things like as much money as she does if she's doing like a mainstream type of thing.
Right.
But we'll see if a gamble like this pays off. The Miss Creative says, I'm sure it was more black women who played it. Yes, of course. Yes. So 100%. Althea Gibson and yes, 100%. I mean, I remember even as a little girl in Jamaica going to a tennis court prior to Venus and Serena. And I just was like, oh, everybody black. Okay. So we gonna be out here like, again, having that ability to even visualize as a little girl, stepping out of one culture into another and back and forth, like, woo, there are communities where the policemen are black, the firemen are black. Okay, the tennis players are black, everybody black, like the prime minister, you know what I'm saying? But what it does for your psyche, I think, is what people are afraid of.
Yeah.
Barack Obama.
It absolutely is.
Michelle. That's why we have to vilify Michelle as some kind of like angry non-attractive. Oh my goodness, the classiest of them all. The queen even hugged her up.
Right.
And keeping that box and that lid on us. Anyway, I know I can get off on a tangent. Final thoughts from our guest. It has been a pleasure.
Yeah,
it has been such a pleasure having conversations with Nicole. Please go check out her channel. And if you're new, please subscribe here to this channel. We got a lot of good conversations coming up. But your final thoughts, please.
Well, I am just thankful to be here with you tonight and to interact with your viewers. Great conversation and something that we can consider. Hopefully you all will check me out on my YouTube channel, and let's keep this conversation going around creating our own characters, our own stories, and also applauding our own work, because I think that is very important. We don't need others to validate us. We can do it ourselves.
And do it quietly too, because sometimes you just know you good. Seeing it in law firms, people that I know supposed to be in partner, not getting the work. I guess I can't open back up the conversation, but I've seen it in so many places where you got to know your worth. Just because some people don't pay you, just because they haven't given you the title, you still have to push. Imagine and know your worth. Conversation with Nicole, I appreciate you. Will you hang out in the back for a quick second?
I sure will.
I'll read the final comments, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Hit the like button and please go support and subscribe to Conversations with Nicole. I definitely will be over on her channel. I'm not sure when at some point. And I know she will be back. Again, we got some great shows coming up. Y'all check me out. Simcia in the building, come through Saturday. Simcia is going to be talking about how looking good kept me broke. We need to talk with Alan next week coming through. And then Harrison Family Values finishes out the month. But I do want to thank none other than Conversations with Nicole for being here tonight, helping me unpack a little bit about what it was that we're seeing online, right? Leave your comments if your team replay after the video and let us know what you think about this whole backlash and some parts of our society with what Disney is doing. And again, check out my sister, Conversation with Nicole, and see. Yay. The partners are the shareholders of a firm, usually the top leadership or owners. So sometimes you come in as what they call an associate, and you come in on the ground floor, you make money for the firm, but you're not being paid like almost like a dividend or as an owner of the firm. So when you kind of go from maybe junior partner or associate, maybe junior partner, or no, first of associate, then maybe senior attorney, then maybe junior partner if you're allowed, and then partner is sometimes now in firms are giving you partnership in name only, where you don't get any money. I don't want no partnership if I don't have a stake in actual ownership, right? So yeah, so I've seen a lot of Black men. I've seen a lot of Black women in firms or through anecdotes in firms and people watching them, and they're not getting the opportunity to kind of like bump up. So they're playing the game, they're putting the work in, they're seeking opportunities, but not everybody gives you the tough cases that are going to bring in the big bucks, because really how you get there is by the money that you bring in for the firm. And then when you bring in the money for the firm, it's like, you can be a shareholder now because you're paying everybody else, right? So it's really difficult sometimes to get there. And there's not, I forgot, I looked at some of the nationwide stats and how many Black people are actual partners. Scary. But remember, only 2%, 5% total of attorneys in America are Black. 2% are Black women. And that's for all of the United States. So can imagine how many are actually partners. We got some work to do, y'all. But yes, thank you. Says on the shoulders of giants. Says Nicole, keep doing your thing. Okay, showing support. Hope you will like the stream and even subscribe. Appreciate you being here. Conversation with Nicole. Thanks for visiting. Says a butterfly. Simcia reminds me of P Diddy. Okay. I remember watching Girlfriends. Yes. Hello. Yeah, we gotta make our own way. Yes, we gotta get that money, girl. Partner some kind of way. Big money, let's go. But yeah, it's a difficult in all aspects, but we can do it. This is how I feel. And I hope Halle does good as the Little Mermaid, no matter how you feel. I hope she breaks the box office. Same thing with The Woman King. I'll come back and tell you how I feel about it once I see it. And I'm appreciative of everyone who supports and is here rocking with me. The Miss Creative says, I enjoyed you, Nicole. Me too. Hopefully she'll be back. And y'all check out her channel. I appreciate y'all watching. Have a great night. I'll see you Saturday. Take care. Bye now.